All right, today we're going to make a simple leaf cane. And to start with, I've chosen three colors. I chose wasabi, pearl green, and ultramarine blue. And I'm going to make a Skinner blend with these three. And then I've chosen black and green, bright green, and I'm planning to wedge a strip of green in between two strips of black and use that for the veins in the leaves. All right, so let's start off with a cutter so that I can get these four square and ready for a Skinner blend. Nice and quick. And there we go. Now we're going to cut each of these in half. Just offset a little bit. And I do believe that if this is going to go here, then what I need is a strip of the green in between, right here, doubled, just like the rest of it is. Press it up, I'll cut it off straight, and I'll butt this up right against it so I have my colors. Now, best to roll this for a minute or two just to make sure that it adheres together. I'll go two directions just to make sure. And you know that when you're doing a Skinner blend, you always start where the colors are. You never start on a blue or never start on a green. You start where there are several different colors. So if I fold it in half before I begin and then go from there, putting my fold in my machine first, I should be able to achieve the Skinner blend very, very quickly. If you hold on for a second, I'll do that and I'll be right back. Now, I've got not too much clay, so I haven't got a very big Skinner blend. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to now try to run it through the pasta machine on a much thinner setting. So I'm going to go the long way. So I'm going to cut this in three, stack them one on top of the other, just as they are. And if you'll forgive me for using the machine, I'm going to run it through the long way, starting with the blue and ending with the pearl green. And I'm going to go down another setting to make it thinner yet. And then I'm going to roll it up. I'm going to start with this green end. That will be the center of my leaf. I'm going to just fold it over a little and gently roll it and squeeze it as I go, keeping the ends kind of even. And I will just continue to roll till I have a nice Skinner plug. Giving me these three really great colors all nicely merged together. All right, so we've got a Skinner plug with our pearl green in the center, our wasabi outside it, our royal blue on the outside, and this is going to become our leaf cane. So what we're going to do, in order to make it as simple as possible, my friend Ann Stefani taught me this, and it's a wonderful thing to know. We're going to cut straight lines right across this cane as many times as we want to, but starting at the very top, we're going to cut straight down again, straight down through the middle, straight down again, and one more last cut straight down. Now, I'm not going to move those because the next thing I want to do, I told you I was going to use black and green for my veins. I'm going to take my black, which I've already wrung through the pasta machine. I'm going to put my green filler inside. It's not quite thick enough. There, that's wider. That will fit perfectly. I'm going to bring my black up and over. So I have black under and black over. I'll trim off the excess. And this will be what goes in between. Now, in order for this to smush together properly, I'm going to run it through the pasta machine one time on a little bit thicker setting so it doesn't get too small. But that did flatten it out nicely. And I've got black, black, and green. So now I'm going to take my slices one at a time. I'm going to place them on the background and cut around them exactly. And I'm going to put it right back where I found it. Okay, I don't want to take it away. I want to put it right back where it was. Then I'll open to get the next slice. Maybe I'm going to slice that off because I just cut it a little bit too big there. All right, put this on my black. Cut it around. Pick this up and place it right back where it was. You see how that looks? Straight across. As many times as you wanted to. Now I've taken 3 pieces. I'll put them on the black. Trim it on one side. Move it over here, trim it, and trim it. And place that right back in its proper spot. In fact, I can see that I actually placed that in its proper spot upside down. It's going to look better this way. So let me do that. All right, I'm going to take the next piece, like so, place it on the black, trim it off, and fit that right back where it was. And then we can take the last little wee piece. A little bit warm in here, it's sticking already. And I'm going to take the black with the green in the center, cut around it, place it back where it was, and I now have a Skinner plug, light color in the middle, dark color on the outside. I cut it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strips. And now I'm ready to put the center vein. And you may think, well, these lines are all going across. That's no good. Well, once we cut it on an angle and flip one side, it's going to be perfect. So watch what happens. If I look at this Skinner plug and I say, okay, I'm going to cut from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock, right at an angle like that, cut down. Now, take your half, put it on the black, trim it up, and then be careful not to put it back the way you took it apart, because if you do, your lines are going to go on an angle, and it looks more like a pattern for a spring dress than a leaf. But if you turn it around the other way, you then all of a sudden have veins that go up one side from the center and up the other side. Now you can press those two together and you have your leaf, or at least the beginning of your leaf. What I think I might do at this point is coat it on the outside with another row of the green. And I think the green and black, I think I have plenty to do that here. So I'll just cut this and I'll start. So I'll lift it up. I'll place that there. I'm going to go to here, and then it starts getting thin because I was a sloppy cutter. And I will cut the remaining piece, join it up, bring it around to where I started, pull that off, trim the edge if it happened to have been a little bit too big, join up your seams, and now we have a leaf cane. At this point, all we need to do is reduce. We have a beautiful cane, it's plenty big, but what we want to do now is begin to compress it. I'm not going to worry about shaping a leaf right now. I'm going to worry about getting this into a longer, thinner cane so I have more to work with. So I am just squeezing a waist around this shape that is a little like a leaf, that's more or less an oval. It's really not shaped yet, but I do want to keep and pay attention to where the top and the bottom are. So I'm going to begin to press, and reduce. Same thing on the other side. Press and reduce. Now it will get a little funny looking on the ends. That happens with all canes. Don't let that worry you too much. We're going to cut that off. But let's just continue to go here and see what we can get. Now I like to kind of press and pull from the center. Seems to give me a little bit more length when I do that. So I'm going to just work it that way. Now this is a pretty big leaf still, and I certainly don't want it this big for the projects that I have in mind. So I'm going to get it to a point where it's usable, cut it in half, keep that half of a large cane, because sometimes I may need a really large leaf, and then reduce the other half until it's a reasonable size. Again, cut it in half, reduce that half, and then reduce the last piece to the smallest leaf cane. Let me take this right now and cut it right in the center so we can see what we have. And what we have is a nice leaf cane. Now I can shape this now that I know where it is. I can say, well, this is the top and this is the bottom, and I like this very much. And I can take as many slices off the cane as I wish. I'll set that down. I'll take this part and I will continue to reduce. The smaller it gets, seems to me, the harder it is, but some of you are pretty good at reducing. If you're patient, take your time. Keep pressing and insisting, because the clay is not the master of you. You are the master of the clay. And we're going to continue to get it longer, narrower, smaller, until we're pretty happy with the size of it. Now it's coming, but it's getting a little bit wonky. So I'm going to cut the end off there. Oh, it's not so bad. Cut it in the center. And I can now take, well, I didn't cut enough off of here. Oh, there we go. Now I can take this and give it its proper point at the top of the leaf, all the way back, and any kind of shape that we want to around. So I have a fairly large leaf cane and a much smaller leaf cane. And I'm going to take this little dude here, and we're going to get him much smaller yet. You know, for those tiny pendants where you want to add some little bit of jazzy decor or a splash of color. Well, this is how you're going to do it with this cane. Especially if you've made flower canes that you can use with it. Will be really, really nice. So we're getting this down quite small, quite quickly. So I can cut the little end off. See how it looks. Cut a little bit more off. And say, okay, well, there's the top of our little leaf. And go all the way back on that point. And I've got my large, my medium, and my small canes. They don't look too bad, and it's a good beginner's easy way. The two difficult parts are one, making a Skinner blend, but if you didn't want to, you could just use a flat color of green, or you could take 2 or 3 greens and chop, 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 chop until it's fine, meld them together, roll it into a roll, and let that be your center, and it would look like variations of green. When it comes to the veins, you don't have to sandwich one color of green in between 2 black. You can simply take one color and put it in. The easy part of this cane is that you have a round cane to begin with, and you slice it straight across horizontally until you have all of your veins in, and then you cut it from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock, put your center vein in, and then flip the leaf so that your veins come up like they do here. And that's all there is to a leaf cane. So see you next time. Thanks.